Hello everyone, this is Caleb from Cosmic Hat Games with another Duels of Fortune character showcase. Today, we'll be showing off the 11th and final character that will be available at the start of the early access launch. The glitch entity with a dominating presence, Error CS1501. Error is an unusual character, with access to a slew of strange and unique abilities that are unlike anything else on the roster, current or future. Their stretchy limbs give them a huge effective range, and their 8-way flight grants them a degree of air mobility unmatched by any other character. But that's just the tip of the iceberg on what makes this weird and wacky fighter so unique from the rest of the cast. First of all, the way Error simply moves around the stage is a bit different from everyone else. Error moves fairly slow by default, has a floatier jump, and lacks any form of dash whatsoever. But what they lack in basic movement, they make up for in droves with their flight ability, activated by pressing neutral special in the air. While flying, Error's move speed becomes much faster, and they can maneuver freely in 8 directions rather than just side to side. Error also gains access to a special teleport dash while in flight, which you can perform by double tapping left or right just like a normal dash. Error's flight has a number of other useful properties not specifically related to movement, but I'll go over those in a later section. For now, let's jump into the moveset by first taking a look at Error's command normals. Error's back heavy is Asset Flip. While Error's crouching heavy has frankly ridiculous reach, it launches opponents too far to get meaningful follow-ups in most scenarios. Asset Flip can function as a more practical launcher for when you need one, albeit one that is much less effective as an anti-air attack. You can also use this move while in flight, which makes it easy to carry the opponent quite high into the air as you combo them. And Error's jumping down heavy is Data Mine, a spinning drill attack that descends at an angle, giving Error a way to quickly drag opponents down in combos and to approach from the air. When used in flight, the move won't travel downward, allowing you to maneuver it in any direction you please. Despite its simplicity, it's a very versatile tool. And now we descend into the truly wacky part of Error's toolkit, with their special moves. Error's neutral special is Invalid Action. Error spins in place, creating a stream of wind in front of them. You can change the direction of the wind by pressing forward or backward during the attack. The wind can push and pull the opponent, letting you keep them at bay, or pull them closer to get them caught in the spinning attack. The wind also affects the majority of projectile attacks, letting you turn them around and send them right back where they came from. It doesn't hit the opponent on the way back though, so it isn't a true reflector, but it can still be very useful for dealing with projectile zoning. You can also use this move during flight, although it won't produce any wind that way, though it does remain useful for racking up damage. Error's back special is Boolean. Error spits out a binary code projectile that travels in a straight line. If performed in the air or in flight, the projectile will travel at a downward angle instead. It's nothing special, but it does help Error keep his distance from the opponent. If you hold down the special button, however, you get a very different move, called Boolean Variable. As opposed to the regular Boolean, this projectile stays in place and is much larger. You can manipulate its position after placing it using the wind from Invalid Action to push and pull it around, giving you many options with how to use it. The only catch is that Boolean variable projectiles can be destroyed by the opponent's attacks. Though, if the opponent is expecting a Boolean variable that they can easily destroy, you can try using a regular Boolean to throw them off, since the regular Boolean projectile can't be destroyed in the same way. Both projectiles are useful tools for controlling space, and synergize nicely both with each other and with the rest of Error's moveset. Error's down special is Void Teleport. Error places a void portal on the floor in front of them. If the opponent steps onto the portal, they'll fall into it and be teleported above where they initially fell, giving Error plenty of time to start a combo. The portal can also be used in the middle of combos to extend them in ways you wouldn't otherwise be able to, although you can only use it once per combo. Placing this down is a quick way to lock out an entire piece of the ground in front of you, forcing your opponents to either stay back or approach you from the air. It also opens up the potential to pull the opponent into the portal using Invalid Action, which might just catch them off guard if they're not ready for it. The portal isn't completely infallible though, as it will disappear after just a few seconds, or if Error is hit. Still, this move is extremely valuable in many situations, and can be a strong cornerstone of Error's gameplay. And Error's jumping special is Delete Gravity. This is the move that initiates Air's all-important flight. Being a special move, you're able to cancel into it from any air normal, giving you the opportunity to start flying mid-combo or to follow up on an aerial hit in neutral. Flight will end on its own after a few seconds if you go too high above the opponent or if you're hit during flight. But you can also manually cancel flight by pressing down special. Aside from the increased movement options mentioned earlier, flight also gives you access to all of Air's standing normals in the air. You can also still perform their jumping medium and jumping heavy by holding forward while pressing the respective attack button. This means that not only do you have increased mobility while in flight, you also get vastly expanded options for attacking, reinforcing flight as an essential mechanic for the character. And for the final moves in this showcase, let's take a look at some of the strongest, and naturally the weirdest abilities Air has, with their supers. Air's primary super is Void Consume. Air lets out a loud shriek, knocking the opponent away. Doesn't seem like much at first, but Air gains a special effect when this move connects. For the next several seconds, getting the opponent to fall into a void teleport portal will trigger a highly damaging cinematic attack. I'll let it speak for itself. Yeah, it's quite the move. The initial shrieking attack is also invincible to aerial attacks, making it a potentially very rewarding way to punish approaches from the air, especially if you already have a portal set up nearby. And Air's down super is Integer Overflow. Air detaches their head from their body, causing it to bounce around the screen as a damaging projectile. Both Air and the opponent are able to change the projectile's trajectory by hitting it with an attack. But since the projectile can only hit the opponent, you'll have a much easier time hitting it around than them. There's also two unique follow-ups that this super has. The first is performed by pressing neutral super while the head is out, and is called Rubber Banding. This attaches an elastic tether between Air's body and their head, allowing you to use the head almost like a flail. You can press neutral super again at any time to toggle the tether on and off, and there's no limit to how many times you can do this per super, giving you a great degree of control over how you use it. The other follow-up is performed by pressing down super and is called Disconnected. This causes Air's head to stop in place wherever it is and let out a paralyzing screech. Afterward, it will immediately return to you, ending the super early. The shriek deals a lot more damage than a regular hit with the head, and the paralyzing effect makes it useful for starting and extending combos. While all this comes together to make for an extremely powerful multi-purpose super, it has one big catch. While Air's head is out, you lose access to any actions that require Air's head normally, including a few normal attacks, as well as blocking. If you're going to use this super, make sure you're in a good position to do so. Otherwise, you may have no real way to defend yourself if you're in a pinch. Use Air's abundance of space-controlling moves to lock down your opponent's options and force them into unfavorable situations. Take to the skies to overwhelm your opponent with your extremely high air mobility and assert dominance by juggling them into the stratosphere. Air can be a very tricky character to get the hang of playing, but once you understand how to use their unique toolset to its fullest extent, you can become an unstoppable force of nature that your opponents will quickly learn to fear. And that's all for today's showcase. If you like what you see, you can give us a follow on Twitter or join the Discord community to keep up with the game's development. Links are in the video description. We hope you look forward to the early access release of Duels of Fortune coming September 16th, and to more showcase videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching.